This is another presentation by My Weight World.
Exercise. Introduction to muscles. This presentation will provide you with an introduction to the muscles. You will learn about the definition and function of the muscles, basic muscle anatomy, including descriptions of the cardiac muscles, smooth muscles, and skeletal muscles. Interaction between the muscles and bones, descriptions of types of skeletal muscles, description of tendons and ligaments, explanation of the metabolic functions of the muscles, types of muscle changes, including atrophy and hypertrophy, and ways to increase muscle mass. The definition and role of the muscles. A muscle is a combination of fibers and cells that facilitates movement of the body. Muscles produce force, causing either self-movement or the automated movements of our internal organs, such as breathing. Muscles turn energy into motion. They are the engine the body uses to propel itself. Most people have heard the expression, bag of bones. That's precisely what a body without muscles would be. Muscles give the body shape and form and allow it to move. Each muscle has a different function within the body. Certain functions are involuntary, occurring without or having to think about them or do anything conscious to make them happen. Some of these autopilot muscles functions include blinking, breathing, sneezing, digestion, wound healing, and cell repair, vision, hearing, and the pumping of blood throughout the heart. Other involuntary muscle functions maintain the central nervous system and keep the immune system operating properly. Without muscles, it would be impossible for us to have enough balance and control to stand, to move ourselves forward, or to reach for and retrieve items from overhead. Muscles have a metabolic function in that they increase the body's metabolic rate. A high metabolic rate means fat is burned off, rather than being stored up by the body. Want to unpack weight from fat? The fastest way is to pack on muscle weight by increasing the size of your muscle cells. Before you can begin thinking about how to train your muscles, you must first understand some basic anatomy. The human body contains more than a whopping 650 muscles within its skeletal structure. These are broken into three primary groups: cardiac muscles, smooth muscles, and skeletal muscles. Cardiac or heart muscles function involuntary. They are controlled by the lower portion of the brain known as the medulla oblongata, which controls all involuntary actions throughout the body. The heart cells are shaped like long strips, each containing a single nucleus. The muscle cell's shape is a key factor in determining which of the three classes any particular muscle belongs to. The heart's main function is to propel blood into circulation throughout the body. Contraction of the cardiac tissue occurs when the sinoatrial node, located in the right atrium of the heart, receives electrical impulses sent from the medulla oblongata. The smooth muscles, like the cardiovascular muscles, function involuntary. All the internal organs, except the heart, are comprised of smooth muscles. These include the stomach, small intestine, liver, kidneys, etc. Unlike cardiovascular muscles, which are long, smooth muscles, tend to be generally spherical, as are most other human cells, and each contain one nucleus. The skeletal muscles are the only voluntary muscles of your body, meaning you need to think to move them. These are what generally referred to when we speak of the muscular system. These are all the muscles in the body that facilitate movement. Unlike either the smooth muscles or cardiac muscles, the skeletal muscles contain multiple nuclei because of their large size. These consist of strips that can reach a couple feet in length. A lever is a rigid bar on which a given load is moved with the supporting help of a fulcrum, or fixed point that enables the lever to move in different ways or at different angles. The muscular system interacts with the skeletal system in a similar lever-type relationship. The muscles pull the bone against the load of the body. You can think of the joints as the fulcrum on which the bone lever moves. Skeletal muscles are grouped according to the type of movement they cause. Muscle movement is defined by the type of a joint a particular muscle works. Skeletal muscles can't expand, make themselves longer. but they can contract, making themselves shorter. So they generally work in pairs. One muscle contracts and in the process stretches the other, which reverses its effect on the joint. As you contract one muscle, the other one extends. An example of this would be moving your arm. When you contract your bicep, the major arm muscle, the tricep, extends. Specific muscles are grouped as follows. Flexors. Flexors bend at the joint in the process, decreasing the interior angle of the joint. Extensors. Extensors are the opposite of the flexors and unbend at the joint, increasing the interior angle. Abductors. Abductors are the muscles that allow the limbs to move away from the body, as in lifting your arm to the side. Adductors. Adductors are the opposite of the abductors and allow you to move your limbs toward the body. Tendons and ligaments. Although very important to the process of movement, muscles cannot do the job alone. Muscles alone wouldn't be very useful because they are not directly connected to the bone. The muscles are connected to the bones by the tendons, which attach directly to the bones. Contracting muscles pull on the tendons, which in turn pull on the muscles. That is what ultimately causes movement. Ligaments are the fibers that hold the bones together, connecting at the ends of the muscles to keep them from slipping and forcing them to bend. Ligaments are the things that allow your movements to be self-directed. Without ligaments, the bones would slide past each other rather than bending or rotating the way you intended them to do. Muscles that facilitate specific movements. The neck muscles allow us to lift our heads while preventing the neck from being injured by such movements. The arm muscles give us the strength we need to reach, lift, pull, and push. Our hand muscles allow us to grasp things. The motility and flexibility of the fingers enable us to use writing instruments and eating utensils. Our abdominal muscles help us bend and are also used when we rise from a sitting or lying position to a standing position. The back muscles help us stand upright and also protect the spine from minor bumps to the body. The leg muscles help us to control our balance when we stand, walk, or bend our knees. They also help move the blood through our arteries and veins to our feet. The muscles are dynamic and are consistently changing. They tend to change in two specific ways. They either atrophy or hypertrophy. Atrophy occurs when the muscle wastes, causing it to become weak. A muscle's ability to exert force is directly related to its mass. Hypertrophy occurs when you build or increase muscle mass. This can be achieved through strength training, short duration, high intensity anaerobic exercises, or by using anabolic steroids, a highly unadvisable practice. Muscle mass does not increase naturally. The only way to add muscle tissue is to force the body to add it. You must provide a stimulus and subject the muscle to levels of stress they are not used to. Some methods of building muscle mass are more obvious than others, but there are many that can work. It's most important to remember that your efforts at muscle building must be progressive in order to create the physical changes you seek. Some of the more traditional methods for building muscle mass include: increase the amount of weight you lift or the resistance, perform more repetitions than you have in the past, increase the number of sets you perform, use deliberate slower movements, take shorter or fewer breaks between exercises within a single set, and between the sets themselves. You now have a strong foundational knowledge about how your muscles work. You have learned the definition and function of the muscles. A muscle is a combination of fibers and cells that facilitate movement of the body. Muscles create force, causing either self-determined movements or automated movements within the internal organs. Basic muscle anatomy includes three kinds of muscle: cardiac, smooth, and skeletal. The muscles move the bones of the skeletal system in a method similar to a lever. Muscles need the help of tendons and ligaments to move the body. Muscles consistently change. The most notable muscle changes are atrophy and hypertrophy. The body will only build or add muscle if we force it to do so.
This has been another presentation by My Weight World.